So here it is, the Cascade 1000. I kind of jumped ahead in the opening because I thought my phone was recording and it wasn't. When you open the box, the first thing you're going to see is this little note telling you that they inspect and test each filter and that you might find some water in the filter. With that being said, one of the concerns I had was that I read several reviews about Aquatop doing the same thing, but in return, I've heard some horror stories where they were finding black mold in their canisters. Not really a big deal, clean it out, but that's just one more added step to the process. But in any case, I was concerned about the UVs shorting out, the shield over the bowl being cracked, things of that nature, which I've read several cases of that happening. Could be from their testing at the manufacturer, who knows. But to anything above 40 gallons with a certain flow rate is going to render the UV almost non-efficient, non-effective, I guess you'd say. So knowing that, I realized that it was just something that I'm going to pay for that I'll never use, so it wasn't worth the price. Then I started really looking heavily into the Eheim 2217, zero bypass, intake from the bottom, filters through the top. Perfect. What wasn't perfect for me was I don't like the feel of the cheesiness of the spray bar, the intake tubes, nor do I want those green tubes in the tank. So, in speaking with William Feltner and Dave Bandicourt, again from the Aquarium Co-op live chat, really gave me some helpful information, so I decided to go ahead and make the purchase. So, as you can see, here is the Cascade 1000. 3 trays of media, intake, outtake, 1 button push primer, your flow control valves, which I'll have to say I'm very impressed with the quality. It doesn't feel like that cheap, flimsy plastic that you see on so many filters today. Then another plus, because I have a black background, is your piping is black and it's rubber. But to me, one of the best parts is it's smooth inside. You don't have the ridges that some of these other units have, where you get the debris caught up in there, and then slowly, over time, it clogs up, and before you know it, you've got problems in your tubes. And then, of course, you have your intake-outtake with the ferrule end to tighten your fittings into the lines. Decent strainer, small enough to protect some of my larger fry from going in there, but I might be hitting Corey up at some point to get a pre-sponge filter to really protect them. But so far with my Aquarium 5575 that I have, they're pretty good not getting sucked up into it. They kind of stay away from it. That filter is definitely doing its job. I've hot rodded it a little bit, and it was definitely keeping my tank clear, but I've noticed over the last 2 weeks or so since I've switched over that it's kind of getting cloudy even after water changes. So I think it was time to jump into the canister arena. But they also give you the easy reference card showing you the hookups and the do's and don'ts, etc., and so on. What is nice about this is you do have the handle. To me, this is probably the only thing that feels a little funky, because you can kind of see it twisting under the weight, but it's still solid. You have your clips, front and back, left and right. Here's where the handle comes in handy. And there is your pump unit. Pretty solid. And then of course you have your trays, which Got your top, which you can use if you want to use for floss, which then again you could actually take your polishing floss and put it on top of this to really make your water clear. Baskets, definitely a nice quality plastic. I'd say it'd be a step down from Tupperware. And you have your middle, which again has your floss, has your charcoal, which for a planted tank, I don't really use it because I don't want it to take my nutrients out of the water. And then your third tray, which has more floss and has your coarse sponge on the bottom as well. And then you have the two little feet on the bottom that will rest up against the bottom of the tray. So with that being said, I would think check out Pond Guru. He has a biomedia that really seems to get the job done. It's very porous. It's got a awesome amount of growing surface for your beneficial bacteria. And it's pretty decently priced, and it will last quite some time. They also sell one that has, I'll use the word additive for lack of a better one, that actually helps with the growth of bacteria. So in any case, as you can see, when I mentioned about the water, there's nothing wet in there. Looks like maybe a little bit of residue, but it's definitely clear, translucent. But I would think I'm going to run it like this for now, but what's eventually going to happen is I'm going to remove this and I'm going to fill this with that biomedia that Pond Guru sells. And then for the second tray, I'll probably wind up putting Purigen in here instead of the charcoal, because like I said, to me it really has no use unless you're trying to get medications out of the water or certain microscopic organisms. But outside of that, there's for me personally, there's no need for it. I don't want it to take out any of my beneficial bacteria. So that's that tray. And then the top tray, I will leave this floss in, and I'll probably put a polishing pad in there because I don't really have messy fish. It's more of guppies, tetras, cories, pristillas, white clouds, coolilokes, lemon tetras, diamond tetras, so and a couple bushy nose palecos and stuff. So it's not really a messy tank like the cichlids that would tear it apart. As you can see, you've got your intake. The one thing that I do see, which it probably won't become an issue, is that the chance for bypass, because there is a little bit of a lip here, and down inside of here you can kind of feel a little bit of a gap, but the way the motor sits, it will definitely sit down in there. You can actually see where it was sitting in the top tray there. You can kind of see the ring from where it was shipping and jostling around. So I am thinking that this is definitely going to help out my conditions a lot better. Like I said, my parameters are usually pretty much on point. And you know, I'm not really sure if it was just because I haven't really touched the tank in the last week or two that is what caused my issue. And then also you have this tray, which again, you could put the filter or polish pads on here. You could even put some lava rocks, Purigen, whatever you want to put, you could put between these two. But you're not really going to have any space with this motor going on. So I would probably either just use that for a polishing pad or something like that. So there you go, folks. Hopefully this helps you out a little bit. These are also marked out and in. Makes your life easier, not as confusing. They also give you a little bit of quick info on there. You also have the ability to rotate the heads for your lines. Moves pretty easily. And I think on the spray bar and head, which I haven't looked at yet, you have your suction cups, quite a bit of hose, measure twice, cut once. Oh, the spray bar is actually right here. Some decent sized hose, decent sized holes in the spray bar. Several pieces to either go lengthwise, or as you know with 55s they're kind of short front to back. So with that, it definitely should make a bit of a difference, get a little bit of flow going in the tank, make life a little easier. But with that being said too, I noticed doing a lot of research, a lot of people were talking about the various canister filters and such a strong flow for fish that really don't like the strong flow. What you can do is drill your spray bar holes just a little bit bigger to pump more volume of water versus air pressure through there. Another safety tip with canisters is to put it in, get it running, set your water line or your water level, and maybe an inch or so, depending on how much you let your water evaporate, if at all, about an inch below the water surface, drill a hole in the hose. The reason for that being is some of these pumps don't fire back up on their own. It's going to create a vicious backflow and pressure, and you could come home to 55 gallons, 40 gallons, 100 gallons, whatever, on your floor. By putting that hole in the hose, if the water level starts to drop, and this is actually going to go into a pan underneath in case it ever leaks, once that water level drops below that hole, it's going to break the suction. So what's in the hose is just going to feed back into the tank. What's in the top part is going to feed through into the filter and into hopefully a catch basin that you have underneath. So that's one safety tip I can definitely tell you is something worth checking into. Save you a lot of wear and tear, and yes, a lot of money if you get water damage. And Lord knows I've seen my share of water damage, non-aquatic related though. Well folks, thanks for checking out the video. I hope it helped you out a little bit. Sorry if it was too long. And once I get it up and running, I will show you the before and afters, and I'll let you be the judge if it's actually doing its job. Till then, be safe, be happy, peace out.